Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm back. Week 15 of NFL picks, and if you know it, if you don't know it already, which you should by now if you've been following the NFL, this is probably one of the biggest weeks that isn't the postseason for the NFL. There are at least six marquee matchups that will determine a lot as far as postseason berths, playoff seeding, playoff survival, the whole nine. I mean, this is a very big week in the NFL, and there's some really, really major games today. So, without further ado, I'm going to give you my I'm going to give you my picks. A little tongue twister there. But first and foremost, we start with the New York Giants traveling to the ATL to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Giants are coming off of a victory over the New Orleans Saints. Where it's not just a victory; it was a thorough ass whooping. Like, this was bad. I mean, they hung half a century and some change on the New Orleans Saints, 52 points to be exact. So now they're traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, and they're hoping to keep some distance between them, the Redskins, and the Cowboys as far as the NFC East division goes, because they are only a game ahead, and these two teams are surging to try to unseat the defending NFC East and the defending Super Bowl champion New York Giants. The Atlanta Falcons are coming off of a ugly loss to the Carolina Panthers. Yes, the Carolina Panthers. And this is the Atlanta Falcons that everybody was saying that, you know, they started out, 8-0, 9-0, etc. But a lot of pundits, NFL analysts and pundits, basically said that this is the least threatening number one team in the NFL. And they were right, because Carolina pretty much put hands on them. The score shows you a different story, but if you watch the game, the Panthers pretty much took it to the Falcons. And so now the Falcons are sitting at 11-2, looking to get back on the winning track and to keep some distance between them, the 49ers, and the Green Bay Packers as far as home field advantage goes, number one seed in the NFC. My pick is the Giants. Eli Manning is undefeated against the Falcons. He's 4-0, including the playoffs, 2 points. He hasn't lost to the Falcons. He doesn't know how to lose to the Falcons, and I don't see that changing. And the way the Giants start to get hot near the end of the season, it could be that time again, and they're going to do it in a hostile environment where the Falcons are pretty good at home. So don't get it twisted. I mean, they are a very stout team in the Georgia Dome, but I think the Giants will actually pull it out. They're going to be without Ahmad Bradshaw and Kenny Phillips. So this is a pretty bold pick for me because they're going to be without some key players. But if you've known the Giants, they know how to plug and play people, considering how many people they've already had on injured reserve or going to be out for a game or two. So I think they go to the Georgia Dome and pull it off. Next game, we have the Denver Broncos traveling to Baltimore to take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Denver Broncos are sitting at 10-3. They are already AFC West champions. They've already got that sold up. Their main thing is to try to get better positioning in the postseason. They're the number 3 seed at the moment with Houston and New England. New England, by virtue of the tiebreaker of beating Denver, sitting at number 2. So the Broncos are looking to, get jockey for a better position in the postseason for the AFC. The Baltimore Ravens are coming off of an overtime loss to the Washington Redskins, where RG3 was out and Kirk Cousins led the way to beat Baltimore. And Baltimore pretty much had some major news happen for them. Well, for one, Ray Lewis is not going to be playing in this game today, though a lot of people were speculating that he could. Terrell Suggs, he's going to be playing. But the big news was that after that loss against the Redskins, the front office of the Ravens decided to, and amongst a lot of Ravens fans, finally let offensive coordinator Cam Cameron go. Now, how this man calls an offense and not get Ray Rice involved is a mystery upon a lot of people, and it was befuddling to a lot of Ravens fans and a lot of people in the NFL that they brought him back for the 2012 season, but he's gone now. So Jim Caldwell, the former head coach of the Baltimore Colts, see what I did there? The Indianapolis Colts will be taking over the offensive play calling duties for the Baltimore Ravens. Peyton Manning is 8-2 against Baltimore. Peyton Manning knows how to beat the Ravens. Peyton Manning has beaten the Ravens at home. He's beaten them on the road. He's beaten them in the playoffs. He's beaten them in the regular season. This man is a thorn in the Ravens' side. And I think he's going to be that again. Baltimore, yes, they are dangerous at home. Outside of the Steelers' loss, it's rare when they take an L in their own backyard. But this is Peyton Manning we're talking about against the Ravens, who has a stellar track record against them no matter where they play. And I think that comes into play. Slight edge. I'm giving the victory to Denver. Next up, we have a very heated NFC North battle. And this game will determine who wins the NFC North, because if the Green Bay Packers, who are traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears, they win this game, NFC North is theirs. No contest, no question, because they would have swept the Chicago Bears, and it doesn't matter if they end up with the same record at the end of the season. That tiebreaker goes to the Packers, so it's already a wrap. So the Chicago Bears are going to be playing in survival mode, and they're going to be without Urlacher, and Jay Cutler will be playing in this game. Green Bay coming off of a come-from-behind victory over the Detroit Lions last Sunday night, and the Bears are coming off of an L that they took at the hands of Adrian Peterson in that team called the Vikings. So Chicago Bears know that it's do or die for them, because they started out 7-1, and they've started to hit the skids, and they're in danger of losing their position in the postseason. They're sitting at the number 5 seed now, and they know that a loss right now will pretty much put them in danger of completely collapsing like nobody's business and completely missing the postseason. So they're going to be coming out and playing fierce. They're going to be coming out playing competitive, hard, and they know that they owe the Packers a favor after what the Packers did to them in Week 2. Pretty much dismantled that team after the Packers took the loss to the 49ers in Week 1. They took it out on the Bears in Week 2. So, having said all that, I'm picking the Packers. I think the Bears have too many problems. That offensive line is still a sieve. Jay Cutler is coming off of concussion-like symptoms yet again, and he's going to be playing, and he just really doesn't get it done against the Green Bay Packers. Like, for some reason, he crumbles. He falls apart against the Packers. So, I see that happening again. Green Bay Packers win. They are your NFC North champs. Next game, we have a team that is fighting for their playoff lives, or at least to stay in contention for the playoffs, the Washington Redskins, who will be without RG3 as he suffered a knee injury in that game against the Ravens last week. So Kirk Cousins and Rex Grossman will be the signal callers for this game. And they travel to Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns, who are surprisingly not bad. I mean, they're bad, but they're not bad, if that makes any sense. The Cleveland Browns, I have them winning this game. For one, they're at home, and I just think that the Redskins not having RG3, I think that's going to play a huge part in them not being able to get it done today. And we all know, and you saw that game against the Giants, the way RG3 just commands, or just how he leads that team. And the kid's dynamic. The kid's an amazing talent. He's not a cornball, stupid-ass Rob Parker, but he really knows how to get it done. He's a winner, and that team is a winner whenever he's on the field. Unfortunately, he won't be on the field, and so this is why I feel the Cleveland Browns take advantage of that. I think Kirk Cousins, while he is, for him doing mop-up duty, clean-up duty, or coming in RG3's absence is not bad. As if you watch him in that Falcons game and you watch him in the game against the Ravens, he doesn't have the full 60 minutes to really, how I feel, take it to that next level for the Redskins. And I think it's bad because this is a game that they can't afford to lose. I see them losing this one, unfortunately, but they know that a loss here and it cripples them as far as getting into the playoffs, much less winning the division. So I have Cleveland in this one. Next up, another divisional battle, and once again, one that could actually determine the winner of said division. AFC South rivals, the Indianapolis Colts, who are now going to travel to Houston to take on the Houston Texans, who thoroughly got undressed and tarred and feathered and curb stomped raped, whatever you want to call it. The New England Patriots did it to them. That was supposed to be the game of the game of the year, one of the biggest games of the the 2012 NFL season. That shit wouldn't even have been the game of the week. They would have blacked that out. That's how bad it was. I mean, the Patriots pretty much dismantled the Houston Texans, who a lot of people said was the #1 team in the NFL. Hell, they're sitting on 11-2 right now. But even with that loss, they're still hanging on to that #1 seed as far as playoff positioning. Now, there's a couple of things that could happen for each team in this game. For Indy, this is game #1 against the Houston Texans. They have them again in the final week of the season. This is so they play them 2 times in 3 weeks. If Indy beats Houston, they're in the playoffs. They get a berth. They get to cash in their ticket and go to the big dance. However, if they lose to the Houston Texans beat them, the Houston Texans are the AFC South champs, and gives them more cushioning as far as obtaining the #1 seed for the AFC in the playoffs. So both teams have a lot riding on this game. Colts win, they're in. Houston Texans win, the division's theirs. So, having said that, knowing how bad that they got mauled by Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and the Patriots, they're going to take it out on Indy. I like Luck. I love what he's doing. That kid is the real deal. He is the franchise QB for the Colts. And hell, they're sitting pretty. They're going to get into the playoffs. I think they will make the postseason this year. But it won't be because of this game. I have the Houston Texans winning this game. This is that get the bad taste out of their mouth game, and they will. Unfortunately, Indy, you're going to be the ones that's going to take the punishment. So, Houston. Next up, we have Jacksonville traveling to Miami to take on the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are coming off of a loss against the 49ers. The Jags, they're the Jags. So, yeah. I don't really have much to say about the Jacksonville Jaguars other than the fact that they're going to lose to the Dolphins. Yeah. Miami in this one. I think Tannehill and Reggie Bush and Fasano and Hartline, I think offensively they just have a little bit more firepower than the Jags. And the Jags are the Jags. So, Dolphins. Next up, 2 NFC South rivals. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Saints are mathematically done. They were hoping to catch lightning in a bottle, second half postseason run after starting the season 0-4. But after the Giants pretty much undressed them in public, that ain't happening. So they're just playing for pride at this point. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles hadn't won a game up at that point since September 30th. And that was a game they needed to win to stay alive in the postseason. That was a game that they ill-afforded they could not have lost, but they did. At the very last second, Nick Foles, Jeremy Maclin, boom, damaging their playoff hopes. They're still in contention, but they need a lot of help. And the Saints aren't going to give it to them. Saints are wanting to wash the bad taste out of their mouth after they got blown out by the Giants, and they're going to take it out on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have the Saints in this one. Next up, we have another pair of teams that are wanting to stay alive in the playoff hunt. 2 NFC teams here. The Minnesota Vikings, coming off the victory against the Chicago Bears, take on the St. Louis Rams, who came from behind to beat the Buffalo Bills. Rams are sitting at 6-1, so they're still in contention. The Vikings are sitting at 7-6. They're still in contention. It all depends on how Christian Ponder doesn't get up. Peterson's gonna be Peterson, and this is gonna be a very, very awesome matchup because you have Adrian Peterson and Steven Jackson, 2 hard-nosed, physical runners, and of course Peterson's chasing 2,000. Hell, he's chasing Eric Dickerson's record of 2,105 yards rushing, which is the NFL record. So it's gonna be a fun battle between 2 defensive stalwarts who don't want to give up the big runs. It's going to be a matchup between whose QB does not fuck it up. Because you have Sam Bradford and you have Christian Ponder. And in this case, I'm going for the mildest of mild upsets, and I'm picking Minnesota to eke one out on the road against St. Louis. St. Louis, they play very well at home. If you look at the game against the 49ers, they play charged. It's something about when they play in that dome that they perform a lot better. But I think because of Peterson, and you got to excuse me here because there's music playing in the background from this website. But my apologies here. Okay, sorry. But I think the Vikings with Peterson and that defense, I think they eke one out. So I'm going with the Vikings in this mild upset, folks. Next up, we have two teams that have thoroughly hit the skids, one worse than the other. The Detroit Lions travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. The Detroit Lions had it. They had the opportunity to beat the Packers. They should have beaten the Packers, but they did what they do best, and that's find ways to collapse. And they're 5-9. Yeah, or let's see what 5-9 or 4-9 actually. Yeah, 4-9. They're done. They're toast. Disappointing team of the year after coming off of a 10-win season and, you know, all these high expectations. They travel to Arizona to face the Cardinals, who, wow, how many blowouts were there last week? I mean, you had the Houston Texans getting blown out by the Patriots. You had the New Orleans Saints being blown out by the New York Giants. But none of them got destroyed like the Cardinals did when they went to Seattle. 58-0. That was Madden easy mode. Now, you talk about a team that's fell off. This team started out 4-0, and they've lost 9 straight. So, you have two disappointing teams here, but one that actually has more talent, way more talent, and that's the Detroit Lions. And I'm picking them to win this game. There's no way in hell the Cardinals with that junky-ass squad, and poor Larry Fitzgerald, man. What did he do to upset the football gods to have a team as just dysfunctional as the one he's on? Somebody needs to free him up or get him or rebuild him, that offensive line. Get him a damn quarterback, man. This is pitiful. But picking the Lions in this one. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks, who are sitting at 8-5 and are looking to stay in contention with the 49ers for the NFC West crown. They travel to Toronto to take on the Buffalo Bills in the Bills' annual Toronto game. Seattle Seahawks, well, what more can be said? I mean, they're amazing. They're doing great things. They have a stout run game with Marshawn Lynch. They have a QB and Russell Wilson who looks like the real deal and who keeps getting better week after week. They have a defense that's stingy, secondary that's just vicious and ferocious. But they do this at home. As I just referenced the Arizona Cardinals getting their asses kicked. They're traveling to Canada. Oh, Canada! To take on the Buffalo Bills. Now, this is my boldest pick of the week, and I'm picking the Buffalo Bills. Seattle Seahawks on the road are a totally different team. Yes, it's the Bills, but like I said, on the road, Seattle's a totally different team. For some reason, that defense just does not show up. Yes, they beat Chicago at Chicago, but for some reason, Pete Carroll knows how to beat Chicago at Chicago. It's just a weird thing, but you look at what they did at Miami, you look at what they did, you know, it's just when they're on the road, they're a totally different squad. At San Francisco, you know, they just don't find a way to get it done. Yes, they beat Carolina at Carolina, but it's Carolina. They beat, like I said, they beat Chicago at Chicago, but I already referenced why, you know, hell, Pete Carroll just has his way with them in the regular season. But, yeah, bold pick here. I think Buffalo, I think they're playing for a lot more pride, and just, I think they pull off the upset. So, I'm going with Buffalo. Next up, Carolina travels to San Diego to take on the Dead Man Walking-led Chargers. And Dead Man Walking is Norv Turner. Him and A.J. Smith are pretty much gone from this franchise, which they should have been gone last season or the season before that. This team just, they're the AFC version of the Cowboys. They find epic ways to lose. But they pulled off what would considerably be an upset when they pretty much blew out the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. Carolina, coming off of that epic win against the Atlanta Falcons, they're kind of getting themselves, these victories near the end of the season is something to look forward to. And Ron Rivera, basically, these wins are helping him keep his job at this point. And I think he gets another one that helps keep his job. I think Cam Newton does what he does. He's actually gotten over his midseason sophomore slump so far. And I think they pulled out at San Diego. So, Panthers. Next up, one of the marquee games here. Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Big D to take on the Dallas Cowboys. Pittsburgh Steelers, Dallas Cowboys, two storied franchises, plethora of Hall of Famers, 11 Super Bowl wins combined. You know that these were the team of the Steelers, team of the 70s, Cowboys, team of the 90s. They faced each other in 3 Super Bowls, Pittsburgh winning 2, Dallas winning the last one. And so there's a lot of history. But that's history. Both of these teams are mediocre right now. Mediocre. Steelers got the doors blown off of them against, of all teams, the San Diego Chargers. The Dallas Cowboys, they had an emotional win against Cincinnati. But outside of that, once again, expectations aren't being met. I mean, they're sitting at 7-6. The Steelers are sitting at 7-6. Both teams need this win to stay alive in the playoff race for their respective conferences. And in this case, I'm going with the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger will be back, and he's not going to have a game that he had against the Chargers. And the Cowboys, they seem to have a hard time pinning him down whenever he comes to play them. So I see Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Wallace doing what they do, airing it out. Cowboys are going to be without Morris Claiborne, but they will have Dez Bryant. But I think at this point in time, they're just not going to have enough to get it done. And I have the Steelers winning this one. So there. Garbage can game of the week. Kansas City Chiefs at the Oakland Raiders. I'm not going to spend much time talking about these two teams because they both suck. Kansas City Chiefs suck even worse. Oakland doesn't suck as much as the Chiefs. Therefore, I'm picking Oakland. Now, this game right here. This game I'm getting ready to talk about. Major. Huge. Potential Super Bowl preview. The San Francisco 49ers travel to Foxborough to take on Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. It's a battle between the NFL's best offense versus the NFL's best defense. The Patriots lead the league in points scored per game. The 49ers lead in points allowed per game. 36 points versus 14 points. So it's going to be the irresistible force versus the immovable object. 49ers defense, stout, stout, stout. Patriots offense, stout, stout, stout. Something's got to give. So how does this all play out? 49ers defense getting the edge or the Patriots offense getting the edge? And I'm sorry. As much as I can be an analyst on this one, I am a fucking homer on this pick. Because everybody's saying that New England's going to run wild over the 49ers. Everybody's saying that Tom Brady and that offense is just going to do what they want like they did to Houston. Like the 49ers defense is Houston's defense. Wrong. 49ers defense is nothing like Houston's defense. If there's a defense that the Patriots can compare the 49ers defense to, it would be the Giants. The 49ers don't send exotic blitzes. They don't blitz. They hardly blitz. If they do, it's rare. They send 4-man. They send 3 to 4 men, 3 to 4 pass rushers. That's how they get their pressure. That's how they get their sacks. The Giants do the same thing. The Patriots, when they see an NFC defense, it's a totally different story. Look at what Arizona did to them in week 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I'm not buying that the Patriots are just gonna run all up and down the field. Yeah, they may do that, get their yards, but they're not getting points. So yeah, you damn right I'm picking the 49ers in this one. Kind of game. Homer pick. Call it what you want. But I'm not about to sit here and say that the Patriots are going to just do what they did to Houston to the Niners. The only team that could really do that to the Niners is the Giants. The Patriots in the AFC. It's not going to happen. The Niners will be ready to play this game. And they will come out with a victory. And there's going to be ugly conditions in this game. Which means that defense is going to have a lot more fun with this game than a lot of these pundits and analysts want to give them credit for. Niner gang all day. 49ers. Last game is the Monday night game between the New York Jets and the Tennessee Titans. Boy, oh, wow. The Jets are still in playoff contention. But it ends. The Tennessee Titans are going to win this game. I'm picking them. Sorry. Jets ain't got shit going for them. And if they do win this game, more power to them. But I don't see that happening. I see their playoff run ending in this game. Tennessee Titans. So there are my picks, ladies and gentlemen. Marquee matchups, early, late, evening. It's going to be a very fun week, or a very fun Sunday for us football fans. So grab your beer, grab your wings, grab your snacks, grab whatever you want, and enjoy the day. Deuces.